Welcome to Gaia's Love, a podcast to guide you home into your human journey here on Earth. My name is Vivienne Gerard, and it is my delight to co-create with Gaia and share our messages from Source in this now moment. Here we go. Episode 465. It is Friday here in Cincinnati. It is chilly. We're about to get some snow. And I am re-recording episode 465 for the first time that I can remember. I recorded an episode yesterday, edited, uploaded, started to watch it, and realized it was not right. It was not the right frequency. And so I pulled the episode down, which is a big deal for me because I usually trust so clearly when I'm creating content that I'm in the flow, and I could feel yesterday that it wasn't quite right. I just wasn't sure what was off about it, and I thought, well, I'll trust that the message must have been delivered in the way it needed to be. And when I watched it, I realized, no, it's not. So I am sitting here in this space with a new understanding, a new title, a more refined energetic transmission that I am sending through. And this one is of patience, trust, listening intuitively, like from the heart, from the soul, slowing down for a moment so that we can be absolutely sure that we are in full alignment and integrity with ourselves. The title for yesterday's podcast was Chiron's Liberation, and I spent half an hour trying to explain the astrology from a mind point of view and translate it somehow into the interpretation of the soul and the heart here in this human realm. I sounded like a very jumbled astrologer as I was listening to it. And what I clearly am clarifying for myself, understanding more for myself, is I love astrology. I absolutely believe in the power of astrology, and it is not a field that I have studied. And so to try to describe to you what others can just speak very effortlessly about is not productive on my side or yours to listen to. And so what I'm going to keep reminding myself and coming back to is my gift, my genius, is interpreting the energy of what's shifting on our planet. And astrology is one of the markers. It's one of the guides that I use to feel into collective shifts, collective messages, and interpret the astrology into my own individual life and see how they weave and what wisdom I can offer from my journey that might support your journey. So I encourage you to read Astro Butterfly's article on Chiron, conjunct North Node, which is going to happen in Aries on Monday. She describes it beautifully, and I don't need to try to re-describe it. What I will tell you is what it activated in me yesterday into today. Aries is about our identity, like the beginning of the zodiac cycle, the beginning of something new, the fire, the passion, the drive to go do. I have an Aries son, and he's like, let me just go do it. Don't try to tell me. Don't try to explain it. Just let me figure it out for myself. We're bringing in Chiron, the wounded healer, the archetype of the child that was abandoned by its parents at birth in mythology because it carried both genes of the mom and the dad mom and the dad saw themselves in the child and rejected the child because they were rejecting themselves. This is what Astro Butterfly said. To me, it's the wound of self-love. Or individuation. Can I love myself fully, regardless of all of those around me who might be judging or criticizing or not understanding or not seeing the value in who I am inherently just for existing? Can I still love myself? If I'm rejected by my tribe, rejected by my family, rejected by my partner, rejected by my community, if I am abandoned in all of these situations, can I still find the love for myself? Can I be so steady in who I am and why I'm here? This is where Chiron conjuncts the North Node. Why I'm here on this planet, my purpose for existing. Can I be so steady in myself for who I am and why I'm here that I can move forward regardless of what's happening around me? Regardless of who's right next to me. Can I move and walk and know, like, this is who I am and this is why I'm here, and I love myself enough that I will stick to this path, not even stick to, I will claim and walk this path that I know is mine. All of this is getting activated with Chiron conjunct the North Node. Add to that Pluto in Aquarius, which I've been talking about for ages now. Pluto in Aquarius is this underlying energy of death, transformation, rebirth, tearing down whatever it is that we judge about ourselves, about others, like tearing everything down in the sign of Aquarius and exploring freedom of expression, the creative, unique version of you that you are here to be. Pluto in Aquarius has been joined. Aquarius is a very busy sign right now. We have so many planets, so many energies in Aquarius, and I feel it. I feel like this past week I've just felt this sort of jumbledness. Like there's so much activity. There's so much happening in my energy field, and it's like, how do I receive all of this energy and express it, move it, allow it to have some space to breathe into it, and then see what's true inside of all of that, instead of trying to contain it, trying to box it in. The podcast I created yesterday, it was so much about trying to fit all this data into a message to give to you, and that's actually not what serves. What serves is to embody the frequency, the truth, the message, the energy, to embody it, and then to be that expression, to show up here transparently and say, yeah, it wasn't right. I redid it. Here I am redoing it, and I don't know if this one's going to be right, but this one feels more aligned. This feels more embodied. This feels more authentically me than trying to give you the data, the astrology, which is not actually my what? My work, my power, my leadership, my authority. My authority is not the astrology. My authority is the energy, the embodiment, the knowing of it, the infinite. Astrology is a tool, a resource. And so coming into the space, holding myself accountable, because this is what the podcast does for me, holding myself accountable to walking my talk, to moving through life in the way that I know is most aligned for me. That's where I thrive. That's where my soul sings to me and dances and celebrates and says, yes, you're on track. At the end of the podcast yesterday, it was so funny. I was tuning in and trying to translate and trying to move the energy, and I got to the end, and I heard myself say, oh, I feel my guides telling me that was solid. That was a solid performance. And then when I was listening to it later, I was like, I don't want to deliver a solid performance. I want to deliver an exceptional performance. And it's not even a performance. It's an exceptional frequency, an exceptional alignment. I want it to be, every message that I deliver, I want it to carry the codes, the transmission, the light, the darkness, the embodiment, the duality. I want all of me encompassed in these transmissions of energy that come through technology to you. And then you meet me in that transmission and have your own experience, your own activation. You don't take from me, I don't take from you. We meet and we alchemize in that meeting. There's a that happens. Not a solid performance. No. And I should have known when I heard myself say that, when I could hear my guide saying that, I should have known, oh, this one is not the right one. Because we're not a solid performance kind of girl here. Like, that's not the way my soul plays. So I should have probably known. But I think what happens in the human realm, in our current collective energy of humanity, especially here in the Western culture with social media the way it is, I feel like there's this momentum or impetus to keep going, to push through, to get it done, to move to the next thing, to deliver and then keep going. And that current of activity sometimes carries us along, even when we know we're supposed to stand up and go, wait, nope, not right, not quite right, something's off. And I believe it's in moments like that where later, these are the stories that come out in the news. Later, someone will be interviewed or they'll be in trouble or going to jail, and they'll say, well, I thought that it was going to be okay, and it sort of felt a little off, but I wasn't quite sure, but I didn't want to go against what everybody else was saying to do, and so I just got sort of swept up in it. We know, I believe, inside of our physical human being, there's a barometer, I said it a while ago to someone I really love, is that there's like a line of truth, and sometimes you cross that line. It's like we know the integrity within ourselves, and sometimes we move right over it, knowing we're moving right over it. Or we aren't in alignment with the fullness of our truth and our integrity, and we know that. We get wobbly, and yet we keep going in the wobble instead of stopping and saying, no, I need to pause, I need to come back in, I need to be and feel this. And so I grumped and groaned last night and tried to do other things to keep it all moving. Blah, didn't work. It didn't work. And then I tossed and turned all night trying to wrestle it out in my mind. And I showed up for a mastermind call this morning with this group of women that I just treasure in my heart so deeply. And they called me out beautifully and said, what's up? Like, what's going on? Talk to us. And guided me back into such knowing that there's a bigger plan, there's a divine timing, there's a way that I walk that I know when I walk, it's good, it's right, it's true for me. And I know that feeling. And to trust that and to keep coming back to that. And their reflections just melted my heart, opened my heart back up, strengthened my back, put me back on my feet, and had me keep walking. And I believe that experience was so necessary for me to be able to come and actually deliver this frequency for the week, which is true, embodied frequency. To actually be in this vibration and be able to transmit it to you so that you can have whatever your alchemical reaction is on the other side of the video with me. You can meet me and these things happen. And then you're strengthened, just like how this morning I was strengthened by meeting my community and being held and loved and fortified so that I could keep going. There's this intersection, that was another title I was considering for today. There's this intersection between Chiron conjunct North Node in Aries, which to me is very much about individual healing, individual clearing of the old wound that we've carried, the rejection, the abandonment, the not being loved, not feeling loved, not being seen for who we are, not knowing our own worth or being valued for that worth. There's this intersection between the individual experience and then this Pluto and Aquarius energy with all these other planets in Pluto or in Aquarius. There's so much happening in Aquarius. Aquarius is, I am the unique individual in community. And so all of this activity with Chiron meeting all of this activity in Aquarius, to me, it's one of the bridges of healing, one of the pathways of healing for us. We can do our individual work, but when we are held in community as we are doing that, oh my God, like it's so much more beautiful if it's a safe, sacred community with people you trust and love, and you can say the things that you need to say and know that you're not going to be judged, and they're going to walk with you through the layers of it and unravel the stuck places and strengthen you in the places you know to be true. Like that level of community, you can do so much individual work. There's ripples that will move through your life and the lives of everyone around you because you feel so safe in being held in that space. And that experience this morning, being on the receiving end of that experience, was so healing for me. It was soothing for my Chiron wound of rejection and abandonment. I offer spaces like this in the practicum. This is the whole reason I created a community online experience. It's because I know that we are going through these activations with Pluto and Aquarius. This pathway that we are walking for the next 20 years is one of liberation, freedom of expression, stepping out of the boxes, the limitations, the hierarchies, the labels, the rules that we have all put around ourselves, the boxes we've contained ourselves in. Pluto and Aquarius is break free of that and break free into the love and the support and the collective experience that is being part of 8 billion souls in human bodies. You will find your tribe. This is the time to find your people. Pluto and Aquarius is like, yeah, you may think you're the only one who blah, blah, blah. Nope. There's others like you. There's always more like you. Not exactly, but enough that you can find your similarities. And then you can celebrate the differences instead of judging them. We are moving through such a time of healing on our planet. And it's individual and collective. There's just, I was sharing with my group this morning, there's just this dream that I know is coming into reality, is merging the dream into the real, the energy into the manifested. It's absolutely going to be happening here on this planet. We are coming together. And maybe what we see on the news and on lots of social media posts is the opposite. But I feel like that is just part of the breaking down, the destruction and rebirth that is happening in Pluto's energy. In order to transmute it, to take all of the rejection and abandonment, the Chiron wound that every single human processes or works through in their journey, transmuting that, liberating ourselves from that wound, and knowing who we are, celebrating who we are, finding others who are like us, hanging out, spending time together, finding the ways that we can collaborate. This is also Pluto and Aquarius. How do we collaborate, create partnerships and communities and healing vortexes that then start to generate solutions on our planet, that start to create the reality that we want to see more and more and more around us. Words. They're so limited. I can try to give you all the words, and that's what I tried to do yesterday in the episode, and it didn't translate. So today I offer you the embodied frequency, the feeling in my heart, in my soul, in the core of who I am. There is so much love here on this planet. And when we allow ourselves to love ourselves first, when we see that we chose every single aspect of this reality, that we're creating it, one element after another, we start to shift what we are creating. We start to allow others to love us, allow ourselves to love others more and more. And the world becomes more beautiful. Not because the world is more beautiful, but because we are more beautiful, and it radiates out from us. It reflects out from us. I've looked at pictures of myself, and I'm sure everyone does, like look back sometimes at old pictures. And I think, yes, I was younger, but I feel more beautiful now than I ever have. I feel like the inside of me is glowing and radiant and like so at peace with who I am and why I'm here and the path that I'm walking. And that light, that radiance that is inside of me, I feel like that transforms how I look on the outside. And I've seen this in so many people that I really admire. There are those who try to make themselves look younger, which doesn't work if on the inside you don't love yourself. It's, again, words are so limited. I think you know what I mean. My hope for Chiron conjunct North Node in Aries, which begins next week for a couple months, the feeling of it, the work of it. My hope is that we discover more and more about ourselves to love, that it doesn't really matter what everybody around us says or feels or does or acts. It's how do we feel inside? Can we see the beautiful being that chose this human reality and is just doing his or her best? Like, we're here. We're doing it. We're doing it. We're walking our talk day after day and loving ourselves the best we possibly can. And the more we do that, the more radiant we become. And the more radiant we become, the more that ripples out to everyone around us. And the more of us doing that, the more beautiful our world becomes. So maybe that is how we transmute the Chiron wounded healer story. Maybe that is liberation. We'll see. We'll see. I'm here. I'm here. I offer activation sessions if you're struggling with any of these aspects I just shared. I offer the community space and the practicum with all different levels of community connection, work, healing, time with me, all kinds of magic. And then I offer so many meditations. So there's lots of resources available. If you find that the next little while is a bit intense for you, then come connect with me and let's see what I can do to support you. Because I'm sure just being together is going to activate you. Thank you for being on this journey with me. I send you so much love today. Thank you for tuning into this vibration of pure love. Let's take this message of Gaia's love out into all of our relationships and communities today. So much love from my heart to yours.